Apologies for the lack of an episode last week. Events have conspired so that Wednesday isn't going to be my recording day going forward. From now on, it will be Monday. So that'll be the plan going forward until something else happens which prevents me recording on a Monday again. Such is life, such is the way of things. But I digress. You're not here for me rambling on about my problems. You're here for some news, so... Hi everyone, and welcome to Gossy News, and right out of the gate we've got something about NFTs. And it has one of the companies who seems to swear by NFTs even though just about everyone else is going, nope, they're bad. Ubisoft. They've ended Ghost Recon Breakpoint updates, including NFTs. This is according to the official Ghost Recon Twitter account. GamesIndustry.biz confirmed that NFTs were also among the updates that were getting cancelled for Ghost Recon Breakpoint after they checked with Ubisoft and was sent a screenshot from the Ubisoft Quartz website which confirmed this to be the case. The Twitter message thanked all Ghost Recon Breakpoint players who claimed their first digits, Ubisoft's term for its NFTs, adding, "You own a piece of the game and have left your mark in history." It concludes, "Stay tuned for more updates with features to the platform and future drops coming with other games." That basically means that Ubisoft still see their future as being in NFTs. Now, one of the fundamental questions I have about this is people who've bought Ghost Recon Breakpoint NFTs, or digits, whatever you want to call them, the game is no longer getting updated and it's now a matter of time before the game gets shut down totally. Do those NFTs only exist within the game? Because they're bloody useless in any other game unless you have some kind of cross-coding between games. Because if you've got an NFT that is some kind of really high-tech weapon, particularly a ranged weapon like a rifle or a repeating gun of some sort, and then you're playing another Ubisoft game where it's all medieval or during the Renaissance or some point in history when those weapons didn't exist, and you have an NFT that allows you to use that weapon. Does that work? Is that how they work? Who knows? Because they still haven't defined what the hell an NFT actually is. Now, I know there are plenty of articles and plenty of things online that explain how NFTs work and where you can find NFTs and what the meaning of NFT is, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the soul, the essence. What is it at its core? And more importantly, why should we believe that an NFT has any intrinsic value? I'll give you an example. Money isn't actually worth anything. Hard cash is not actually worth anything. Maybe the coins, but the paper? Not really worth a lot. Really high-tech paper? Still not worth a lot. So why, here in the UK, would you say £10 is worth £10 when it isn't? But in our minds, it is. See, the piece of paper that you hold that says £10 is not actually worth £10. It's nothing more than a promissory note. On it, it actually says, "I agree to pay the bearer on demand the sum of £10, which means if you take it to the Bank of England, you will get £10 or the equivalent in whatever that country's capital, finances, whatever you call it, is based on. So here's the thing. Because everyone believes that £10 is actually worth £10, it means it is worth £10. The lie becomes the truth because everybody believes it to be true. That isn't the case with NFTs because we can see the scam for what it is, a scam. Until the day when everybody believes the lie to be the truth, it is pointless for companies to even think about using NFTs in any sort of way. Because the majority of people will not believe that something like that will be worth anything. Unless maybe you're a Sonic or a Mario fan. Paying specific attention to Sonic and Sega, because Sega says its Super Game Plan, which was previously believed to be the code name referring to a single AAA title, is actually something that refers to multiple games and may contain the use of NFTs. Back in November, Sega Sammy, the parent company of Sega, then claimed that it would consider investing up to 100 billion yen, or $882 million, over the next 5 years to achieve its super game ambitions. According to an interview on Sega Japan's recruitment website, which has been translated kindly by Video Games Chronicle, Executive VP Shuji Utsumi explains, Sega offers a wide range of game content, including hardware and arcade content, which is made possible by its diverse range of technologies. We have defined Super Game as the development of AAA titles that cross over Sega's comprehensive range of technologies, and we will aim to achieve this in our 5-year plan. Explaining further, Utsumi said, several titles are being developed within the framework of Super Game, and while each title will vary, there is no doubt that there will be interactive titles that go beyond the traditional framework of games. For example, in the past, people who played games were called gamers, but now watching games has become a culture in itself, and such people could no longer be called gamers. I think that there is great potential in the relationship between people who play and watch games. We are thinking of creating new entertainment within these possibilities. Okay, so here's my take on this. I'm going to use porn as the example here. I'm not really going to go into a lot of detail because now that I've said porn, I think you kind of get the point I'm making. People watch porn for a very specific reason, and I'm not saying that people who watch other people play games are getting the same kind of enjoyment out of watching those people play games. I'm saying that just because somebody is a popular streamer, maybe it's not just the game that they're playing or the fact that they play games, which is what's drawing people to watch their stream. It's been a long fact that the biggest channels on Twitch, the ones that get most views on Twitch, are the just chatting channels, where it's just the person having a conversation with the audience, browsing the internet together, having a shared experience. And that's the fundamental thing that I think Sega have missed out on here. I think it's something that a lot of people miss out on with this whole thing with streaming. I'll give you an example. Final Fantasy XIV. Why is it when a streamer starts a Final Fantasy XIV stream, they will get loads of people watching them play through Final Fantasy XIV's MSQ? Why does that happen? It's because the majority of people who are going to be watching their stream are probably people who've already finished the MSQ and basically want to relive the key moments from their playthrough and relive those memories vicariously through the eyes of somebody who is just playing through the game for the first time. And I've seen that happen so many times with Final Fantasy XIV, which is one of the reasons why Final Fantasy XIV has such a strong community, because it's all based on shared experience. If that's what you're aiming for, then you have to build up to that. Anyway, Activision Blizzard, another company that has not been in the good books for many gamers for a while, they have made 1,100 of their games testers full-time employees. Here's the thing. These 1,100 US-based temporary or contract quality assurance workers, they're now full-time staff, but the QA staff from Raven Software, who were the ones who initially raised this as an issue, they've been completely ignored because of ongoing legal things that apparently Activision Blizzard can't go against, because Raven Software are in the process of trying to sort themselves out and have their own union and everything like that. It's a clear case of union busting, an attempt at it on the part of Activision Blizzard. Everybody knows it, everybody can see it for what it is. Sarah Steffens, Secretary-Treasurer of the Communication Workers of America, which is representing Raven in its union push, called Activision's exclusion of Raven's workers especially galling, considering those quality assurance professionals have been at the forefront of this effort. She said Activision is trying to divide workers and undermine their effort to form a union. Activision's disingenuous announcement is further evidence of the need for workers to have a protected voice on the job. There's really not a lot I can add to this story. I've long been an advocate of unions within video games and indeed within the wider technology industry. The main reason for that is because people have been taken advantage of for years within technology and indeed within video games. I know that unions can be a bad thing when they have too much power, but given that this is America we're talking about, or at least an American company, I'm pretty sure that in this case, unions are going to be more of a rebalancing of the power structure offering the people at the very bottom a voice with which they can protect themselves, or at least be protected against people who are wanting to run roughshod over them and treat them like slaves. Okay, now it's time for us to roast Sony for a bit, and, well, they kinda deserve it in this case. Turns out that digital classics on the PS3 and PS Vita are mysteriously expiring. PlayStation users have reported strange decades-old expiration dates being applied to their digital games. Upon re-downloading the PS1 classic version of Chrono Cross, for instance, Twitter user Christopher Foose was told the purchase expired on December the 31st, 1969, preventing him from playing the game on both PlayStation 3 and PlayStation Vita. GameSub editor Edmund Tran described a similar issue, trying to boot up Chrono Cross on the PlayStation 3. Now, could it be that Chrono Cross is one of those games that they want people to stop playing the original version of digitally because they want people to buy the new, priced-up remake version of the game? Is that what could possibly be happening? We know that Sony isn't above these kind of tricks to try and get people to pay for the full-price version of something. Is it, Sony? We're waiting for you to respond. Because so far you've been very, very quiet on this particular subject, even though multiple press outlets have approached you for comment about this. Another company that needs the piss taken out of them is Epic. Oh, Epic, sometimes you do deserve it. And Epic and LEGO, they're teaming up to make the Metaverse. Well, a Metaverse for kids, anyway. And they're planning a long-term partnership that's going to create an online space where children can safely play. So they're going to make an online playground for children. Now, can anyone else see what's wrong with this particular picture? It seems like somebody hasn't learned the lessons of Club Penguin and other things like that, have they? It seems like somebody has also forgotten the lessons of things like Roblox as well, haven't they? You want to have a family-friendly digital experience that will give kids access to tools that will empower them to become confident creators and deliver amazing play opportunities in a safe and positive space. You know what that space is? It's called a home with loving parents who are eager to nurture the kids' creative and inquiring minds and help them in all sorts of ways create their own content. You don't need a metaverse for that, you just need a family. The LEGO Group, according to Tim Sweeney, has captivated the imagination of children and adults through creative play for nearly a century, and we are excited to come together to build a space in the metaverse that's fun, entertaining, and made for kids and families. Now I have a question for you, Tim, and it's a very, very basic question. Which metaverse are you going to make this in? Because the last time I counted, there's like 32 different metaverses. According to the LEGO Group CEO Niels B. Christiansen, kids enjoy playing in digital and physical worlds and move seamlessly between the two. Because they're going to need money to help them develop this metaverse in association with LEGO, Sony and Kirkby, the company behind LEGO, have given Epic Games $2 billion in funding. The investment is going to go towards advancing the company's vision to build the metaverse and support its continued growth. So they're going to make their own metaverse. Oh goody. That means 33 metaverses that I know of, and counting. Now, I'm going to leave this with a nice little thing from Tim Sweeney. As we reimagine the future of entertainment and play, we need partners who share our vision. We have found this in our partnership with Sony and Kirkby. This investment will accelerate our work to build the metaverse and create spaces where players can have fun with friends, brands can build creative and immersive experiences, and creators can build a community and thrive. Because apparently those things don't already exist. Okay, let's move on to something that's a little bit happier, a little bit more pleasant. Max Payne. See, I got you there. Max Payne isn't happy or pleasant, is it? But the news about Remedy entering into an agreement with Rockstar for a remake of Max Payne 1 and 2, that is happy news. Remedy and Rockstar, they have basically had a relationship that goes back to the original release of Max Payne and Max Payne 2, The Fall of Max Payne. They were developed by Remedy and published by Rockstar Games. They have dated horribly But a lot of people still have a soft spot for those games. And I would really love to see a full-blown, from the ground up remake of Max Payne 1 and 2. I would love to see that. Moving on to Sonic the Hedgehog. We mentioned that Sega were looking at their super game with multiple games and stuff like that. I have a sneaking suspicion about all of it, and it's kind of based on the Sonic movie. Now, Sonic 2 has become the biggest or the highest grossing opening for a movie based on a video game of all time, and it's made $71 million at the box office so far. But what does that have to do with Sega's plans? Well, everything, because they're planning another Sonic movie, they're planning a TV series. If they're linking it in with Sonic Frontiers, the new game that's going to be coming out, then that's another thing. And then on top of that, you have this super game announcement where you have not one, but maybe multiple AAA titles, multiple peripheral titles, possible NFTs, maybe a Metaverse thrown in there. Is it going to be the Sonic Metaverse? Well, why the hell not? Nintendo managed to build a Metaverse around Mario, so why not Sonic? And if you're wondering what the Metaverse around Mario is, it's Super Smash Bros. Okay, Kingdom Hearts 4 dropped a trailer and the internet went batshit crazy. Everyone's going, Kingdom Hearts 4, it's set in the real world, or a world that looks a lot like Tokyo, I should say, real Tokyo. They even had a little bit of gameplay footage in the trailer. You see Sora with normal feet and normal shoes. Everyone's been commenting about the fact that he's wearing normal shoes. It's great and all, and at the end, Donald and Goofy wandering through the dark, and then you have the reveal of what could only be Hades. That's what everyone assumes. Some people have actually said they've spotted technological type stuff, which is reminiscent of an AT-AT or an AT-ST from Star Wars, suggesting a possible Star Wars crossover. Maybe there's a Marvel crossover hidden in there somewhere as well. Maybe there's circumstantial evidence pointing to something like that. At this point, I would keep all bets on the table because it's Kingdom Hearts, Disney have Marvel, they have Star Wars. We don't know. We don't know where it's going to go. One of the things that we can speculate on is the possibility of a Final Fantasy IX remake, and the fact that it's looking more likely following the announcement of Kingdom Hearts 4. One of the reasons for that is because, well, you remember a while ago, the GeForce Now leak, which so far has proven to be accurate. Now, in that leak, Kingdom Hearts 4 was on there. It's the latest Square Enix game listed in the GeForce Now database leak to be confirmed as real. As yet, Final Fantasy IX hasn't been announced and hasn't been trademarked by Square Enix. Well, a remake hasn't been trademarked anyway. The original is still under their trademark. But that doesn't mean to say that it's not in the pipeline and that discussions aren't happening that we're not privy to. A remake of Final Fantasy Tactics is another possibility as well. One of the reasons that hints towards that is because Square Enix recently trademarked Tactics Ogre Reborn in Japan. I know it's kind of circumstantial, it's kind of reaching and everything like that, but I would really love Final Fantasy VIII to have a proper remake and Final Fantasy IX to have a proper remake. Most of all, I would love Final Fantasy IV and VI to have proper from the ground up remakes. I think they have the strongest storylines of all the Final Fantasy games, except for 14. And I do think that a lot of people would love to play those games. Anyway, one final little story before we end. China are ending their 9-month freeze on video game approvals and have issued their first licenses to publish new games in 9 months. Their approvals include 45 games from a number of companies including Baidu, XD Inc., iDream, Sky and others. The country's gaming regulators stopped issuing approvals to release new games last July. This was all part of a crackdown to stop video game addiction among children, limiting them to playing just 3 hours a week, implementing stricter rules around depictions of sexuality, morality and religion. Fine, we all know that China likes to keep a tight grip on their people. But I find the timing of this a little bit curious, because knowing China's regime as we do, And given that a lot of publishers and developers have basically stopped releasing their games in Russia, and a lot of other companies have stopped releasing their stuff in Russia, I find the timing of this a little convenient. Am I imagining things? Could it just be coincidence? I don't know. You tell me. And with that, we're at the end of the episode. If you have any thoughts about any of the things that we've talked about today, then leave us a comment below. I'll be back on the next episode of Ghost Recon News or on the next Impossible Mission, whichever one comes out first. Until then, thanks for watching.